this mindset. I've spent over 3 decades mastering my 5 mountains, allowing me to break free from the prison of a common, predictable life. Freedom isn't free, and it takes work, but it is seriously worth it. I wrote this book to teach you how to master your 5 mountains so you can live the uncommon life too. I know we're not all born equal, in the sense that we're not all gifted with genius IQs like Marilyn Vos Savant, or with the ability to compose music like Hans Zimmer. Few of us can draw like David Hockney, or cook like Gordon Ramsay, or run like Lamont Jacobs. Some of us know the square root of 324 off the top of our heads, but most of us have forgotten the basic multiplication tables by adulthood, as we're busy launching careers, paying bills, or raising kids. I admit to possessing none of those qualities, in case you're wondering. But I have learned that though everyone can't be a prodigy, everybody does have vast, untapped potential. That potential lies within the mind, yet it remains dormant until one learns to break free. Break free from what? From the conditioning that is designed to keep you limited and dependent. Society's mental training system is customized to keep you trapped in common land, so that it can feed off your money, your time, and energy. My mental training began with competitive swimming, which gave me a glimpse of my mind's power. Competitive sports enabled me to redirect my energy away from the partying during college and taught me how to control my breathing and to visualize success. These rudimentary skills played a crucial role in preparing me for the Navy's Basic Underwater Demolition SEAL, or BUDS training that came a few years later. I'm grateful for the physical aptitude I was born with to be an athlete. That's because as I mastered my physical mountain, a glaring spotlight was pointed at the other mountains that needed tending, my mental, emotional, intuitional, and spiritual intelligences. Turning my attention to training these is what led to the breakthrough. I found mental toughness through sports and endless hours in the wilds of upstate New York. There was no task I would not tackle, no workout or sucky thing I would not do. But though I was the quintessential badass on the outside, there was a persistent feeling of emptiness, of not being enough, on the inside. I'm not so sure I would have recognized that void were it not for my physical and mental strength casting a light on a glaring emotional imbalance. The hollowness I felt left me searching constantly for direction, for purpose, and for true love. The hole in me felt like the size of the Grand Canyon. I fit the picture of perfection on the outside. On the inside, an aching panic was clinging to me like the faint scent of chlorine after training at the Lindbury Pool at Colgate University. I was only subtly aware of this existential struggle and couldn't grab onto it to study it closely. My family was averse to therapy in general, and from my perspective, lacked emotional awareness, let alone control. Emotional nuance was alien to my conditioned mind, so I just ignored it until I couldn't any longer. So yes, I was a common kid who grew into a common man. I followed the rules impressed on me by my family, by my schooling, and society. I was afraid to be different, to speak my truth and risk being cast out. I didn't know how to develop my inner strength beyond the basics of mental and physical toughness, so I accepted that living with chronic dissatisfaction was normal. Shame, negativity, jealousy, and self-questioning drove my behavior. I was convinced that true happiness was a fantasy, or possessed by others somehow superior to me. I'd taken on the role of the overachiever, yet was unraveling on the inside. My spirit was in a real slump. Then, when I started my first career in Manhattan in 1985, I found meditation. After many hours training with this new tool, I received a life-changing sign from my intuition. No, it wasn't a double rainbow after a tough day or an apparition of my great-grandfather telling me I was special. It was an actual sign in a window, and it was pointing me toward an uncommon life, which was out there waiting. I just had to commit to the challenge, and I did. I'll tell the rest of that story later. Being uncommon means moving closer to the best version of yourself every day. It means living with focus, confidence, and humility. Being uncommon means learning how to communicate honestly and effectively. At this juncture in my personal journey, it means reaching more people than I did the day before. I'm a living embodiment of self-mastery and purpose, and nothing brings me joy like watching more and more people discover their paths to mastery and purpose. But I've read my book reviews, and I know that I'm not everyone's cup of matcha. For every 7 or 8 that say